In this video, I'll take a look at some of the differences between using Windows and a Mac and why working on Windows is better for many users. I'll be covering many basic day-to-day tasks which are easily accomplished on Windows but not quite so on a Mac. This video may be particularly useful if you're thinking of switching to a Mac but have never actually used one, and I'll let you know which is my number one gripe with the Mac as we go along. Let's get straight into it. Okay, let's start with a simple one. The pound key, or hash key as it's known in the UK. On a Windows laptop, it's as simple as pressing one button, this one here. On a MacBook, after scouring the keyboard, you'll find that the hash key has been smuggled onto the number 3 key, and depending on your keyboard location, US or UK, you need to use a different button combination. For the UK, it's Option and 3, and for the US, it's Shift and 3. It may seem like a small issue, but the hash key is a popular key and often used on apps such as Twitter and in coding, and it's a pain to have to slow down and adjust to do a Frankenstein key combo when Windows has a dedicated button. Next up is the calendar. If you want to check the calendar on Windows, just click on the date in the bottom right of the taskbar and the calendar pops up. You can quickly jump to a month, you can then select the name of the month and get an overview of the year, and then just click away when you're all done. What happens when you click on the date on a MacBook? The notification window pops out, but no calendar. You do have two options. You can add a calendar widget, which opens the calendar app, or you can open the calendar app directly. Once open, it does the job, but it's not as streamlined when you have to open up a whole app just to quickly check a date. And I'll add another reason shortly as to why it's not the perfect workaround. For this, I say Windows is days ahead. Next is the taskbar. For Windows, it normally sits at the bottom of the screen and contains easy access to open apps. The aforementioned calendar is on the right. The start menu near the center or left hand side gives you quick access to your apps, and you can access your Wi-Fi, Bluetooth and volume controls all in one place. The Mac, on the other hand, has the dock at the bottom with all of your apps. Then at the top of the screen, you have the menu bar, which has the date, the useful notification center, which gives you the same type of access to Wi-Fi, Bluetooth and sound, etc. And the Apple logo to access system settings is in the far left. For me, when I compare the two, the Windows taskbar is the better tool. All of the functionality is found in one place rather than being split across two locations with the Mac's dock and menu bar. Another plus for the Windows taskbar is when you hover over an app, it gives you a preview of the window, helping you identify what is open so you can choose correctly. With a Mac, when you hover, you don't get that same heads up. And it's much the same when you do the keyboard shortcut Alt-Tab to switch between apps. On Windows, you get a nice preview of the open window. On Apple, you do a Command-Tab, but you only get to see the app's logo, so you have no idea what is going on without opening the app. Windows is Command in this one. Let's go back to the keyboard for the moment. Windows has a delete button. This is a very useful button, especially if you type a lot. This is a standard button every Windows user has grown up with, loves and uses as second nature. Alas, the Mac doesn't have a delete button, and you do notice it not being there when you instinctively stretch a finger out to delete and you remember you're on a Mac and you have to reel your finger back in. You can get around this by holding down the function key and pressing the backspace button to give you a kind of illegitimate delete key, but like the pound key, it's another extra step and more thinking for my small brain to have to do, which I don't have to do in Windows. Now, let's talk about Windows management and full screen windows and resizing. This is my number one annoyance. When you full screen an app on Windows, we'll use Chrome as an example. It's very straightforward. You click this button. Then to resize, you can press the same button again, or drag the title bar and resize the window. Whilst it's full screen, you can open another app or folder and it will overlay over the full screen app. And each window houses its own menu and can be independently managed. All very logical and effective. And how is it different on a Mac? We can similarly maximize Chrome with the green button, but once maximized, we can't drag the title bar to resize. We have to press the same green button, which, okay, I can live with. But what happens if we maximize and want to open another app on the same page? It doesn't. The app opens up on a separate desktop, and if you have multiple desktops open, you have to play detective and track down the app. Then you may think to yourself, okay, I'll drag the newly opened app over to the full screen. But the MacBook says no, you can't do that. To get them on the same screen, you have to unmaximize, then find the newly opened app amongst the array of open apps. Then you can use the green button to have them both side by side. And what happens when you go full screen with one of the apps again? Yes, the other app flies off to another desktop in the wilderness somewhere. And it's the same with the calendar. I just want to have a quick look, check some dates, plan a holiday, but the app has other ideas. It's like the Mac doesn't want me to go. Another annoying occurrence is while an app is maximized, it hogs the menu bar at the top of the screen. Meaning, if you want to go to the menu of another app, you have to resize the maximized window as you've seen, and then click the other app to make it active, and then you'll see its menu. Personally, I find all of this really frustrating to deal with because I jump from app to app a lot and I'm used to Windows just flowing. With a Mac, it's like it's not been thought through properly, or if it was a very long time ago and, well, it needs updating. Windows management on a Mac feels like one giant step back for mankind. And yes, it may be a bit better with the latest macOS, and Windows may have the patents on Windows snapping technology, but come on Apple, surely you've got a few coins down the back of a sofa you can use to improve this experience. So those are my observations of the two operating systems and why Windows is the easier and more practical operating system to live with, especially if you're a prior long-term Windows user. So what do you think? Are you a die-hard Mac user who can defend these faults, or do you admit these frailties? Do you regret buying a Mac? I don't recall hearing anyone ever say that, but there must be one. This is a safe space and you won't be judged. And Windows users, does this put you off migrating to a Mac, or does it in fact put more wind in your sails to take on this adventure to the brand new world of Mac? The battle between Mac and Windows operating systems will rage on, just like iPhone versus Android and Messi and Ronaldo has over the years. But with Windows and Macs, it's almost like it boils down to productivity and logic versus creativity and thinking differently. Let me sum it up like this. Both have pros and cons, but Windows gets things done. Let me know your thoughts in the comments and whether you'd like to see more videos like this. Please subscribe, turn on notifications, give the video a thumbs up, and have a great day ahead, and I hope to see you on the next one.